My mom took a little bit of convincing because she's scared of heights.
I think they were a little bit skeptical of my decision, and I talked them into it.
I think you just have to prove even your parents wrong, and
you can underestimate all you want, but I can fly a plane, and that's pretty cool.
Knowing not only the material, but to be able to make it make sense to the people that you're teaching.
Every weekend I'm like, hey, where do I want to go? Where do I want to fly?
We fly in the most gorgeous place that you could learn how to fly a plane in.
Hey guys, it's Matthew from Sling Pilot Academy. This month is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, so we sat down with some of our students to ask them questions about how they got into aviation, advice for you, and more. Enjoy the video.
I'm Sullivan Klakowski, and I'm currently working on commercial.
My name is Alexander Kawasaki, and I'm currently working on my private pilots.
My name is Jeff No. I'm working on my private pilot's license.
My name is Mark Francisco, and I'm currently a flight instructor for Sling Pilot Academy.
My dad got his private pilot's license for fun, and I would be his passenger princess, and I'd just go on the flights and have a blast, and finally it hit me that, hey, I can do this too. So that's what got me into aviation.
So I have a friend that got her private pilot's license, I think the same year she got her driver's license, and I went on a cross country with her from Van Nuys to Santa Barbara, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I thought if I ever got the opportunity to get into aviation, I was going to take it. And then I got one, and it brought me here to Sling.
Plane spotting with my dad, just seeing all the planes take off at LAX. It's so interesting to see how such a big container of metal flying around in the air like that, taking people, all of that stuff.
I got into aviation when I was 10 years old. My aunt was an aviation hobbyist, and she became a private pilot, and she worked her way up to getting her flight instructor certificates. She trained me to obtain my private pilot license, and yeah, kind of fell in love with it ever since.
I was actually a high schooler. Yeah, I came straight out of high school here.
I am a trained musician, so I'm a bass player. So I was working in the music and entertainment industry for a while, and then I picked up photography and some cinematography work on the side, and was just working in that and music before I started flight training. Now I think the career path is aviation, and I'm very happy with it.
I was actually finishing up college. Finished college in December of 2022. I started just working and traveling. That also kind of got me interested. Going on the airplanes, taking glances into the cockpit. Once I quit my job, I traveled full time, and then I started here.
Before coming to Sling, after high school, I wanted to become an engineer. Wasn't quite sure if that was the type of work that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I thought of my aunt, which she was a flight instructor and she flew airplanes, and I decided I wanted to do something I love to do, and the work that I would want to do for the rest of my life, and I thought flying airplanes would be the best career path.
Yeah, my family's super supportive of me. My dad was all on board, obviously, because he's a pilot too. My mom took a little bit of convincing because she's scared of heights, and she also wanted me to get a college education, but I did reassure her it is possible to do Sling and do an online course at the same time.
They were pretty supportive. I think it was a career choice that never occurred to me, so it probably never occurred to them that it could be something that I would enjoy doing, number one, but also have a solid career. It made sense to them when I brought it up to them. I think they were caught a little off guard, but they were very supportive.
So yeah, I think they were a little bit skeptical of my decision, and then I talked them into it.
Originally, no, because they didn't trust that I would be safe and do my homework, but I think you just have to prove even your parents wrong, and pursue what you think is right and what you're passionate about, and eventually it's going to make you happy when you get older in the long run.
No.
Yeah, I think I've been underestimated a lot of times, not so much at Sling, but in the entertainment industry as a whole. And oh well, now I'm flying planes, so you can underestimate all you want, but I can fly a plane, and that's pretty cool.
Not really, just when I travel to weird places, for example Bulgaria and Poland, people just stare at me because I guess I'm the first Asian person they've seen. Not many Asian people walking around there. So Yeah, other than that, not really.
Me personally, I have not. For the most part, I've experienced like everyone, just spreading the love for aviation. Me personally, I don't think I've experienced any discrimination or anyone trying to hinder my progress for training. As long as you're hungry and you want to keep learning and you're respectful to other people, then most people are pretty receptive to giving you the good experience of flying.
It was pretty easy. I studied really hard in high school, so I was able to take the same study habits in high school to Sling, and that helped me be successful here.
I was working at a coffee shop, and one of our regulars happened to be an old CFI here at Sling, Hudson, and I saw him working with a map and doing a navlog to like the middle of the United States somewhere, and I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, I'm a flight instructor over at Sling. You should come by and do an intro flight. And that's what brought me here. And I was like, oh, that was my opportunity to learn how to fly a plane.
The transition's been pretty good, actually. I've been here I'm only in my second week, but first week was a little overwhelming. The people are great. Everyone I've talked to has kind of accepted me with open arms.
So originally I started my training in Pipers first and then training in Cessnas after. So it's not until I was already an instructor that I found out about Sling, and that was when I needed to still work towards my CFII and MEI. So I decided to fly to Sling to get my II and then get my MEI certificate with Technum over here at Sling.
I don't know of any, which I think you might want to ask someone else about this, but there's that like Women Aviation International, the Y group. They're pretty cool.
That's a good question. Never thought about that. I'm sure there are, just because I have faith in my Asian community that there's probably some groups. Yeah, but I actually have no idea.
No, I have no clue.
Next month is Pacific Asian Pilots Association. That's an event where we celebrate the Filipino culture, which is the culture I come from. Indonesian. We kind of are a beacon of, even though that we're the minority in the aviation community, you can actually get into this being an Asian, and to show everyone that it is possible to.
Probably the most challenging part of becoming a pilot was studying for the written test. I said earlier that I was a good student. I was, but it didn't make the material any more exciting. It was pretty boring compared to practicing steep turns in the practice area, and then having to sit at your desk and like study and read textbooks. So that was probably the most challenging part.
Waking up at 7 a.m. again and being on that kind of schedule was hard originally, to get to ground on time and then be back in a classroom learning about ground, and then like performance takeoffs and landings.
The most difficult, besides my discovery flight, I've never really flown or been in a small airplane. It's very sensitive. From being in a commercial airliner to being in a Sling feels completely different.
The training to become a professional pilot is during the CFI training, and I know there's a lot of people who could agree with me on that. Preparing your lesson plans and knowing not only the material, but to be able to explain the material to make it make sense to the people that you're teaching. I think that was the most difficult experience of preparing for the CFI check ride.
Okay, the most fun part is after you have your private pilot's license, you have the freedom to go anywhere you want. Every weekend I'm like, hey, where do I want to go? Where do I want to fly? The other weekend we flew to Big Sur, and then actually to get your instrument rating, you have to fly somewhere super far. And me and my instructor flew to Arizona, and then I flew to the Grand Canyon the other weekend too. So the freedom is really fun.
Oh, most fun thing so far, definitely cross-country solo. Like my first cross-country solo down to Palomar. So pretty. We fly in the most gorgeous place that you could learn how to fly a plane in. So I'm very thankful and happy about that.
The most fun I've had was probably my first flight.
It's actually a cross-country to Lake Havasu. I took a flight with my friend. We just had a blast, and good laughs, good conversations. It's always with the friends that you take with on those cross-country flights that you have a really good time with. And, yeah.
I think for anyone considering a career in aviation, just go for it. Sign up here, take a discovery flight, see if you like it, because I think you'll really enjoy it.
Honestly, I would say come do an intro flight. Just like get yourself in the plane, meet some people, shake some hands, kind of get a feel for what it's all about. Because it's a lot of work, but it's I definitely think it's worthwhile, but definitely challenging. Don't underestimate that.
If you're considering a career in aviation, is to, one, do it. It's so cool and fun, but it's a lot of work. So I think advice-wise, come into it expecting to study. Long hours of studying. I think that's the biggest piece of advice I have.
I'd say the biggest advice I give for students that are first getting into aviation is considering how much money it costs. But definitely, if you're getting into a career, definitely put the time into study and to fly. I'd say that's the best way to save money and to also get through the training as fast as you can.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Cool. Kind of stuttered more than last time, but
That's a wrap. Ooh, baby.